Pick a card. What is their karma for being the villain? Here are your piles, and I'll see you at your reading. Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Untitled Tarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 1, you seem that you're sitting pretty right now, living your dream life or in the pursuit of what makes you happy. At the very least, this is from other people's point of view. But there's something you're keeping secret or ruminating over. Sometimes you slip into your mind with private thoughts that people puzzle about. Little do they know that you have a connection or a thought or event or a moment in time that people don't fully understand. It's a tale of the pearl and the grain of sand, that irritant that was a catalyst for you. If this is you, join me for your reading in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, welcome. If you're new here, I hope that you find something that is helpful, or at the very least, something that's encouraging. And for those of you guys that are indeed my repeat offenders, I'm ever so grateful. Thank you so much for being here. So what is their karma for being a villain? I always sort of struggle with these topics because I think karma or retribution, but that's for you to decide. So pile number 1. You have the 3 of blades, 3 of swords. You have the page of coins. And you have the sun. Wow. So I feel like what their karma is for being a villain, first of all, we have the 3 of blades is definitely the 3 of swords, right? And we see this person trying to mend things, apparently, trying to mend a heart right here. Maybe even trying to or wanting to mend things with you. And then you see this lovely couple back here. It seems like she had happier times, right? So I'm going to say that there's been a lot of thinking, a lot of even ruminating about you or the situation as well. There have been a lot of tears. You don't necessarily have to be present for any of this, right? Because we know that life happens without people witnessing it. I'm looking at the cat right here. And it's almost like I feel like there is a longing, right? There's a longing, almost like making a wrong choice, doing the wrong thing. With this right here, it's like we don't know where this person is, the other half, if you will. It could be a romantic thing that we're talking about right here. Pardon me, I just smacked the camera here. Smacked the camera. So what is their karma for being a villain? Yeah, I definitely think that they've experienced a lot of heartache. And I feel like they're getting back what they dished out into the world. Now, you know, I don't know. I have 2 minds of this, but basically I definitely feel like they're feeling a lot of pain. I feel like they're thinking about what was, and it's at the top of their mind. They're thinking about it constantly. The page of coins, I feel like they could have extended a very tiny little offer towards you, right? And when I think about dogs, I think about loyalty. I think about fidelity. I think about somebody who's going to be with you all the time, right? And I think that with that page of coins, there was just a little bit given while you gave a whole bunch. You gave maybe perhaps your whole heart, the whole kit and caboodle. Maybe perhaps you even leashed yourself, if you will, metaphorically, into this person or the situation. And you had a dream or a vision of like happy memories or making a life or building something steadfast and sturdy. It looks like you held all the reins to that loyalty, that determination, that inquisitive nature, and let's explore and let's see what life has to bring us, life has to offer. And I think what they gave you were meager remnants of what they had, but in all fairness, I also feel like they didn't have a lot to offer you. I'm not talking money, I'm not talking assets, I'm not talking anything like that, but I feel like even emotionally, mentally, spiritually, they had nothing to give you. And so what they did give you, a little bit like breadcrumbs, and it could have felt genuine at the moment, but you're the one left holding all of the leashes. You're the one with all the responsibility is what I feel. And maybe perhaps you're responsible for feeding this relationship, for maintaining it, for making sure it goes on the right trajectory, for making sure it doesn't fall off the rails, right? Most of us responsible pet owners anyways, leash our pets in the hopes of not not having entanglements with other animals, pets, or having an accident where they can run off. But most of the time, at least I did it for my pet security. So my pets were this big and they were hell on wheels, both of them actually. And, I didn't do it for anybody else's safety. I did it for my pet's safety. And yet I encountered a lot in my pet travels, other people that would unleash their dogs and, oh, they're harmless. Well, my dogs are jerks. They're actually a-holes and they will instigate a fight. And if I want to fight my dogs, I know your dog and maybe even you eventually will want to fight them because they're so misbehaved. So everybody stay on a leash. And I feel like, basically I'm using this as a euphemism or I don't know, a metaphor for bad behavior. I feel like you're like, okay, this is a path and I want to make sure that my dogs don't interfere with the baby in the carriage right here, whatever. And they were kind of like, oh, here, I'm giving you little tokens. And they had no responsibility. They had no investment really. And I feel like there's a lot of regret about that. There's a lot of regret about what could have been. I feel like even with the cat being quote locked up in the house, right? It looks like it's a house cat and it's dreaming about what could be. It's dreaming about freedom. It's dreaming about the possibilities of what could have been different had they offered you something more. That's very tangible right now. And I definitely feel like they're trying to mend things and maybe even they're thinking about mending things with you. Now, whether you're open to this, it's neither here nor there. That's not my job. That is not my job. But listen, I'm going to tell you that they definitely have a high esteem of you. I feel like you are in your freedom era. I get this by the Sun having a great reputation. I feel like you are the one that you part the skies when things are gloomy, when things are sad, when things are stressful, when there's a lot of heartache in their life, you inevitably pop up as being like the ray of light, the shine, the hope, all the things, right? But that too has that ship has sailed. They made a decision right here. And that's very clear. But I feel like they keep going back to you. And I feel like, I don't know if this is like a headgear or what's going on right here. I always have mixed, I guess, reviews, right, about this deck entirely. I got it off of actually Battison. I think her channel's name is Battison, and she uses this deck all the time, and I had to have it. It's by Poppy Palin, the Everyday Enchantment Tarot. For those of you guys that are interested, no affiliation here. Just thought if you guys are readers, you might be interested in it because I was kind of hooked. But I definitely feel like, they feel like a pigeon in your world, almost like they're non-existent. Their life is colorless and they really have nothing going for them. They could have a lot of things going, but emotionally, I feel like they're tanked. Mentally, they're tanked. And spiritually, I feel like I effed up. Okay. So there's a massive butterfly right here. They've seen you glow up and change in a massive way that I feel like almost like they didn't expect that of you. Or I feel like some of these people, they gambled against you and they went with something totally different that could have broken your heart. And that is being mirrored right here. Now, the way you're going to know if this is a confirmation or if this kind of rings true is, first of all, spiritually, you're going to sense that in your chest, in your heart area. For those of you guys that are like really connected with spirit, you will know if this is true. Keep in mind, these readings are general. They're not meant for everything to resonate and fire on all cylinders. Not at all. But I definitely feel like there is a lot of loss, a feeling that I lost my freedom, a feeling that I lost my hope, a feeling like that you have the answers even, okay? And that you're going places. There's a lot of movement, a lot of freedom with you. It's almost like you mirror back to them, not only what they can't have, whether they can or can't, I guess I'm not going to focus on that, but more like they're looking for freedom. They're looking for that optimism, that glow up, that change, that massive change that you've had as well. And I think that you're a source of inspiration in the same way. There's something about mirror, about being almost like a twin. And I do feel like, personally, my opinion is that you could be twins, right? You could be very similar or like mirror each other in your life, maybe even during your connection, whatever this was, friendship, situationship, relationship. But even the repercussions, I feel like you experienced all of this way back when things went south, when things went sour. I did address during the intro the pearl that you carry. Now, I'm going to have to address you my friend, pile number one, for just another moment. I definitely feel like you hold something almost like about this connection sacred in your heart. It's almost like that pearl that seems very subtle and very out of place in the whole picture of the picture that you originally chose, right? The image that you chose. But that one pearl just really stood out to me. And it's almost like you know that this connection is otherworldly, that something happened, like it was really different for you as well, but then there were bad decisions made. And so I feel like you understand, it's like this connection really brought out something in you that it was a catalyst. It was like a massive explosion, if you will. It was something that was entirely devastating. I feel like a massive betrayal with the three of blades right here that really, really served to render you almost like level everything out. And I feel like you built yourself up to a point where things are so different now. You have this optimism, you have this freedom, but there's this still tiny itty bitty little thing where you reflect or you take that almost like that gold nugget in time because you realize it wasn't about necessarily the person, but maybe it was a catalyst within itself that got you to where you currently are. And you know that it has like almost like a special meaning. And you could kind of secretly cherish that. I don't want to say that person or that time because I feel like it was very painful for you. Anyways, there's something in here about that you have really evolved beyond that. But that there's something that's like, wow, this was my turning point, my catalyst. And I feel like it's no real different from like John Walsh from America's Most Wanted, right? Where he had Adam, his son. Well, it is different, but I think you get the gist of what I'm trying to communicate. Where his son was taken from a mall and it was absolutely horrendous. But this man, John Walsh, wound up like dedicating his whole life to, exposing and trying to find these like criminals that are on the run and utilizing, modern media and things like that in order to do it. So I feel like jumped into becoming a workaholic. So maybe that is something about you as well, that you wound up medicating or transmuting that energy. I'm not saying workaholic is a great thing, by the way, although I do fall into that category. So anyways, I digress. What else do we have right here? What is their karma for being a villain right here? Pile number one, they have to see you glow. They have to see you shine. I definitely feel it's almost like, the sun and the moon, they're both in the sky, right? I feel like they have to crane their neck to look at you, to look for you. You could be on social media. You could have something about your socials being on point. And, if you look at any of the social medias that really grab your attention, the ones that you keep going back to, like I've referenced, Tony the sign guy before, he definitely captures my attention because he's got this humor, this irreverence about him, and he's got good signage. What else can I say? And, it's so different and almost like fearless, I feel, and I love it. So I definitely feel like their karma is that they feel trapped in a cage, trapped in a household, trapped in a home. And they have these threads. I see these threads right here. I feel like threads of fate almost. It's like they sealed their fate and they are in a constant state of like sadness. And with all the makeup smear and stuff like that, they are a shadow of their former self. And they could have not expected that. I feel like what they got in return from the bad decisions and being a villain and whatever, not only do they have to watch you like glow up and transform your life and change and perhaps even reach like a level of stardom or a level of I don't know, where a lot of people are looking up to you. I feel like you're attaining a lot of success, at least in their eyes, right? And your glow up is definitely so transformational that I feel like people are talking about it and they got to listen to that. But I also feel like it's something that they're like, oh my gosh, now I feel totally in a cage and I have a lot of regrets, and they're questioning their whole life. And it's almost like it's a big explosion for them as well currently. Okay, whenever currently is, these readings are timeless. What is the karma for being a villain? I heard love lest, the devil. Wow, with the devil reversed, and I really debated taking this like reverse because when I shuffled, it did come out, and I felt like it was upside down, but I wasn't sure. I feel like if you had a connection where it was obsessive, where it was almost like they felt like this connection with you was never going to end, no matter where you traveled in life and how separated you were. And even a situation of like no communication, because I feel like that's what this is for the majority of you guys. I feel like they felt mental, emotional, like this tug, almost like they were not at war with you necessarily, because I feel like that part was over, at war with themselves. And also they felt like you had this like deep connection, almost like if you tugged, if there was like a silver, a red cord in between you guys, if you guys were corded, let's say, that they could feel you thinking about them, that they could feel you tied or obsessed with them and things like that. And I definitely feel like that has changed. I feel like they see right now that you have cut and trimmed all of those ties, that were leading up to a situation that was like futile, that was just no good for you. And that you utilized that time, that moment, and management, basically you utilize your managerial skills of your own life in order to really cut those ties. And I definitely feel like they sense or they understand, or somehow, some way, they just simply know that you are not obsessed with the situation any longer. Even though at times you can ruminate a little bit on it, I feel like it's something that you disengage and you carry on. Okay, so I think that that is painful for them. I feel like they feel sad about that, and maybe not necessarily sad that they can't manipulate, but it's almost like, well, poor is me, nobody cares. Well, too bad. I don't know. It's kind of how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like, you know what? You made your bed. Go sleep in it, buddy. So 4 of Cups. Yeah, I definitely feel like what is the karma for being a villain is that they see you right now. And it's almost like, you know what? That is a shadow. That is a past. And I don't want any of that, because I live like vivaciously. I have a very rich life, a full life. Maybe you even have dogs. I don't know. They could be on your socials, or they could know of somebody who is on your socials, or, the fact that they know about your life is just a fact. It's not a speculation here. And if you think, well, everything is locked down, people have friends, people can be moles on your socials, although to me that takes up so much time and energy. Why the heck would you? But whatever, people do people. So yeah, they've been able to see you glow up. I feel like I want one last thing. What is the karma for being a villain? What is this like brokenheartedness, this 3 of Blades? What is going on with this person? The Queen of Wands. I feel like simply you leading your own life has been almost like a terrible lesson for this person. They feel like you are a mover and a shaker, that you're a baddie, that you've received a lot of glow ups, that you are queenly, kingly in every sense of the word, and that they are dealing with a mess that they have to clean up. And honestly, they're stuck in this mental state of poor is me, and I have to go through this, and I could have had, well, you made your decisions. I mean, what else can we say about that? So you're going to have to mend things on your own. But the biggest thing is that they get to see you glow up. I feel like they get to see you earn or even have just a great reputation. I feel like you have a lot of serenity, and that you have this ability to turn down things that are just not for you. And they feel emotionally that you just want nothing to do with the situation, nothing to do with them. And that's what I'm getting. So yeah, not a lot of details into their life, but I feel like they're trying to mend everything, and everything is just kind of falling apart, and they're just in a lot of emotional pain. So not a ton of details, more focus is on you. But that's what I got. Let me know what you guys think. Much love. Until next time, namaste. Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Untitled Tarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 2, you're incredibly protected at this time from your ancestors, I want to say, and also very self-protective as well. You guard your thoughts and move through events seamlessly, appearing like a ballet dancer. People are nosy about your life. They want they want information. And frankly, I feel like you're in a very protective cocoon at this point in time. If this sounds like you, or if this sounds interesting, go ahead and join me for your reading in 3, 2, 1. Welcome. Pile number 2. If you're new here, I hope that you find something that is helpful, or at the very least, something that is encouraging. And for those of you guys that are indeed my repeat offenders, I'm ever so grateful to you. Thank you so much for sharing, for your comments, all the things. Pile number 2. What is their karma for being a villain? You have 10 of Cups. Hold on. You have the devil. There it is. And you have the world. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen this card in this deck before. If you guys are readers, super excited to have you. Say hey. This deck, by the way, because people sometimes ask, is the Everyday Enchantment Tarot by Poppy Palin. I found it because Baddison uses it on her channel, and I became obsessed with it, and I had to get it as well. So there you have it. This deck right here is Lilith and the Time Machine. I got that off of Etsy, but I don't know, because she said it was like the last sale or something like that, if she even has that available anymore. So pile number 2, what is their karma for being a villain? First of all, I definitely feel that their family, whatever is going on within their family, their happy little life, happy little wife, whatever thing, that's gone. I feel like they saw sunshine and rainbows. They could have children, things like that. And again, I don't wish ill on anybody, but these are the repercussions of their addiction, of their obsession, of the way that they're going, of the way that they're gambling, of the way that they're not even looking. It is a one-way street, sir. And you're turning around looking like, who's popping the bottles? What? No, who's driving, fool? So look at all this right here. I mean, I feel like I heard the word rigor. So if somebody literally could have died in their life, I don't know that. I don't, that's what I'm feeling intuitively. But also one way, I mean, you're headed on the wrong way. They're going down the wrong path, and they're about to cross paths with this raven right here. So I definitely feel like they could be, acting recklessly. They could be gambling. They could be smoking blunts. I don't know their life, but and I'm not against, smoking. I mean, that's your life, that's their life, whatever thing. But I definitely feel like getting behind the wheel when you're, I don't know, impaired, or you can catch a DUI or a DWI, whatever it's called nowadays. I think that's reckless behavior. So I feel currently, pile number 2, that their karma for being a villain is that they continued down this path of like immediate gratification. Things have gotten out of control right here to the point where really nothing matters except for how they feel. And with the gray being here in the hair, I feel like this has gone on for a long, long time. I feel like they've given themselves over to addiction, to handing over money foolishly, not thinking about what tomorrow brings, that sort of thing. They could have actually gotten in an accident and hurt somebody very badly, or unalive somebody. I don't know, right? But with the one way, they're definitely going the wrong way, and that much is clear. With the world right here, there is massive endings going on in their life. I feel like it has to do with family. It has to do with their own health, repercussions for their own behavior, things like that. Again, I'm feeling like accidents, and it's not really an accident if you're driving impaired and you know better, right? So I feel like they also have like night terrors, or it's almost like the ghost of Christmas past. That energy is coming up as well. But I definitely feel like with the world energy and the threads of fate, it's like they had a good thing. They had a good thing, they had many different options, like many of us do. And yet they continually chose, okay, let me go right, let me go left, let me go this way. And they didn't read the signs. They were not, and are not, the kind of person that they're reading the landscape properly. They're not enjoying, wow, I mean, I have all this, like, look at this beautiful world that I have, and different options, and the beauty of nature, and the beauty of family and connectivity and loyalty and bonding, and the things that we can grow together, or the small moments that we can enjoy together. That's not what the focus is. It's all about the rush, the thrill, the adrenaline. And how much more can I dump on my plate before something expires? I definitely feel like something expired. Something has left this world. I don't know if this person is, making decisions that could potentially put their own health at risk, let alone other people right here. But let's see, what is their karma for being a villain? I feel like they've not ended there. I feel like they've continued down that slippery slope because it's what's feeling good or felt good. And now they just can't stop, honestly. Look, 3 of Wands. It's like they're waiting for their ships to come in. They're waiting for things to get easier, better. They're waiting for they're waiting for a rescue that's not going to come. Let me tell you something. Pile number 2, I think we all know by now, this is for, people that are not kids anymore anyways, but nobody's going to come rescue us. I mean, if you get a helping hand, that is freaking amazing. That is excellent. But the damsel in distress, the Disney stories, all the BS that you read as children, I feel like I call that pre-programming. I'm glad I don't have like a daughter to pass that on to. I'm glad I don't. But anyways, my opinion here. But I feel like this person is waiting for the calm water to come to us when they don't see that they are, the villain in their own story as well, that they are basically pissing everything away. And look at all the black rocks. It's like, how close can that ship get in order to really rescue a person, right? But they're expecting like a rescue. They're expecting other people to come rescue, to cooperate. I heard even infiltrate. And so I feel like this person could have had a few, addiction is coming through heavily. A few interventions, a few people say, if you don't stop this behavior, I'm taking my family, we're dissolving this, or that is your decision as a consequence of your behavior. So I definitely feel, they have a need for speed. They could be driving recklessly again, for sure. What else do we have? What is a karma for being a villain? Is that there are a lot of secrets that are about to be exposed. Those secrets weigh heavily upon their mind. There's a lot of water here. There's a lot of earth here. They could be a water sign. You could be a water sign. I don't know, right? They could be, Capricorn is featured here, of course. So I definitely feel like, this person has a lot, and I feel like they have a lot to speak on, a lot of ramifications to make, and it seems overwhelming. And so they continue medicating. And some people, right here from this group, their karma for being a villain is jail. Jail is coming for you or worse. Okay. So I don't like to, I've never predicted that, but I mean, they're definitely not on a good trajectory, and it's only gotten worse with time. And I feel like they've encapsulated themselves into like, oh, I'm still a pretty boy. I'm still a pretty girl. Like I still got it like that. But it's like, no, you don't know that you're aging. You don't know that your looks have changed. They don't know that they're not as attractive as they think in their own mind. Or maybe they're dealing with like a lot of makeup. I'm a makeup girly. I love makeup. But to the point where, I mean, they even sell stuff that you can like tape on the sides of your temples, and it comes with a little strap so you can pull your face aside. I had a patient like that, and I was like, wait, what? We're doing this now? I mean, I've seen it on all across the social medias, but if it's a point where you're pinning your face back for like a facelift kind of a thing, well then, I don't know. My opinion though. So what is their karma for being a villain? Temperance. Yeah. They need to seek healing because they don't have any balance. So right now, their biggest karma right now is everything is ending, and it is for them. It's not really being done to them, although that's what we want to hear, because that side of us, that it's like, well, they wronged us, they hurt us. And I totally get that. Obviously, if you're on this journey called life whatsoever, you're going to have those things in life. I've had a lot of betrayals and things like that, but I definitely feel like this temperance card is saying that they've had endings one after another, definite one opportunity after another one after another. They've had talks, they've had interventions, they've had close calls, they've had people like unfriend them, and other people it used to quote run with them or whatever, just fall by the wayside, saying, you know what, you're acting too reckless even for me, kind of a thing. And everybody is tapping out except this person, and they are just like, let's just go faster, let's see what happens. Now this could be a situation where I just saw 911. They're in a crisis, let me tell you. Pile number 2, this person is in a crisis, and they obviously have their own choices in this. So, but this stuff is happening in order to warn, to alert. But I feel like they have been numbing out. They're doing anything not to feel. And with this temperance card, this is like a return to spirit. You need to return to simplicity. You need to return to a state where you're really you're not the medicated you. And I feel like when this person like drinks or drugs or does whatever, it like the demon comes out in them. I see somebody driving on roads and turning off headlights and seeing like, if you hit anything loud. And unfortunately, I mean, I've had experiences like that before. So not a good thing. But definitely really bad decisions. And this is how things happen. So Yeah, with that temperance card, I definitely feel like spirit is calling on them firmly. Hey, come back to balance, come back to basics, come back to feel your emotions in full. They don't want to feel a damn thing. They don't want to acknowledge their part in anything. They think that medicating with wine, women, and whatever their thing is going to really make this like go away, or they don't have to feel. But eventually, every single car runs out of gas, and we're going to have to refuel. We're going to have to stop. We're going to have to figure things out. And this can end very, very badly. And I think that they're close to that. And I feel like they do have guides and spirits on the other side trying to cause like an intervention. And that's why things have been falling, job losses, like mate losses, divorce, things like that. Everything is just falling apart. Their family doesn't want to be next to them. They don't get invited to family get-togethers anymore because they ruin everything and make it about themselves. And it's an awful state to be in. Yeah, so let me see, because that was like really quick and pretty obvious about what is going on. So what is their karma for being a villain? For pile number 2, what is their karma for being a villain? And they keep looking back. It's like 9 of Cups. Yeah, they keep looking back at a wish fulfillment. It's almost like I didn't know what I had until it was gone. Well, yeah, but then you didn't stop there. You didn't stop at like, wow, I messed this up. You just decided I'm going to medicate because it's messed up anyways, or whatever. Or because that's what feels good in the moment. And even right now, like I really don't drink much anymore. And I'm getting this feeling of, gosh, I'd like a drink right now, which is really unusual for me. So this person can be like even a day drinker, I'm going to say. Yeah, showing up and trying to take care of kids and dropping kids off and things like that. All the while, medicating is not good at all. 6 of Coins, this person could have breadcrumbed you. I feel like what their karma is for being a villain, is that right now they're getting little offers, little help, little like, hey, I'll be there for you, But people largely don't want to have anything to do with it. They want nothing to do because this person brings nothing but drama and destruction. And their options are really dwindling. I feel like they themselves are running the ship to the ground. And they continue sort of like looking, it's like, gosh, I wish that things were different. Well, you messed it up, obviously, right? Judgment. Yeah, judgment has fallen on this person. I definitely feel like something to do with like jail, with getting in massive legal trouble. I also feel like these people, not only do they have current bad reputations, people don't want to deal with them, people don't trust them. They cannot be trusted with, I keep getting kids. They can't be trusted with kids. Take that however you will. That's as far as I want to go with that. But I definitely feel like this judgment is going to appear to come from the mist, from in the middle of nowhere. But really, everybody else sees a red flag with them. Everybody else says and sees that they see this is a one way. There's only one way this can end. And that's with an end of life, unfortunately, or jail, or both. Okay. So what is their karma for being a villain? That's like really wild. Let's see right here, pile number 2. The Queen of Swords. Yeah, they're getting massive clarity. They will be getting massive clarity, and they're going to have to feel all the feels, all the things that they've run from, that they hid from. And listen, I'm not one to necessarily judge. I mean, I've tried to medicate myself for years as well, and it just doesn't work, really. I mean, in the end, you have to face it, and it sucks because it all comes at once, let me tell you. But I definitely feel like with this Queen of Swords right here, they can have, I mean, this is like a no-nonsense person. They could be dealing with a female in their life, or maybe a judge. Maybe the judge is a female, where they're not going to put up with any nonsense, any blame shifting. It's going to be very obvious, and it comes with its own veil of fog, of nebulousness in their life. So it's almost like they're in a brain fog and they can't get out of it. It's like their brain is soaked in rugs and alcohol and things like that. Yeah, and this judgment, they're not making good judgments, but they are about to be judged, and harshly, but not really harshly. I feel like it's fairly, because they caused this whole thing. One last thing right here. What is the karma for being a villain? Very straightforward. Look. Wow. 9 of Wands in the upright. Look what I tell you. accidents or something. This is not good at all. The Nine of Wands in the upright says, look, I've been beat up from the street up. This person can have like physical conflicts with people. They could have beat up other people. They could have been beat up. You know, it's so much drama going on that be glad that you're not in the mix. Pile number 2, when this is reversed, I feel like this is even worse because when it's in the upright, it's like I have this ability to stand. I might be on shaky ground. I have one round left in me to fight. Well, the fight is gone out of them. And I don't know. I think this is just not a good thing. It could be a very, very bad thing. Not only don't they have any fight in them, but I feel like in some instances, they're not going to have a chance to make anything right. The number 55 right now, they might not have any ability to make this right or even recover their health, okay? So for some people, I think that this is, maybe you're coming to this reading, this person already crossed over, I don't know. But I definitely don't like it. I don't like where they're headed. I don't like what I'm seeing. And with that, I'm going to leave it. Let me know what you guys think. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Let me know. Much love to you. Until next time, namaste. Hi, friends. My name is Griselle with Untitled Chapter, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 3. I definitely feel like you are in your receptive era of your life currently. So you're not going to do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, apprehensive, anything that you have second thoughts or you have dualistic mind. No, my friend, you're definitely in an era where you want comfort, you want stability, you want support, beauty, and things that are fragrant and so on and so forth. So if this is you, join me for your reading. Welcome, welcome. If you're new here, I hope that you find something that is helpful, or at the very least, something that is fun or encouraging. But considering the topic, maybe you will find justice. I don't know. So those of you guys that are indeed my repeat offenders, I'm ever so grateful. I see you. I'm grateful for all the comments. I do try to reply. I'm trying to get better at that. I did take a little bit of a break, so grateful that you are still with me. What is your karma for being a villain? And again, right now, I always struggle with these a little bit because I think karma or retribution, I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit more of a retribution situation here, but I digress. So pile number 3. Well, strongly out of the gate, we have the Death card. Bear with me one moment, please. You have the Ace of Wands. And you have the 6 of Coins. So right now, I definitely feel like their karma is a massive ending. So you could be coming from pile number 2. And I just saw the number 1101 right now on camera. That can mean something to some of you guys. I know I love the number 1111s. But I feel like they could be in a very cold, dark place right now. I feel like they could have experienced a loss of a loved one or a pet. Pets are family members. I don't care what anybody says. And it takes just as long to really recover from those as well when they do cross over. So pile number 3, I'm looking at the crow right here doing its thing, doing crow things. And I feel like they've had like 3 massive changes as well. I feel like they're looking at life differently. I do feel like they're thinking about the afterlife a lot. They're thinking about getting older. They're thinking about what they have done basically to even deserve somebody thinking about, wow, are they going to get their karma? You know, I feel like we're no angels here. None of us are. Some of us, we can consider ourselves earth angels or whatever. But in the end, I feel like nobody is perfect for sure. And what is their karma for being a villain is I think that they're really starting to see that there is an end to everything, right? And I'm not trying to sound ominous or anything, but I think that they're looking at things way differently. Like there is a life and there is an end of life. And I think they're thinking about what's there afterwards. I have a lot of friends who don't believe in anything. Like, right? They think that when their life ends, they push up daisies, and others that believe in this and others that believe in that. And so I feel like this is coming to question. They've had a rude awakening. They've had 3 massive endings, whether it's like a career, a job, or a health issue. But I definitely feel like they're thinking about their own mortality, whether they've had a person cross over. it's put them in this deep state of, wow, let me really think, let me really get back to basics, let me reel it back in. And I feel like also they could have this period of hermitude coming up, or they're currently in it, where they're really self-reflecting. And being part of the hermit, right, has everything to do with going within. It has to do with looking at, taking an inventory of what it is that your soul has been calling for, what it is that you have been longing for, what it is that you've been doing with your life, perhaps, right? And I feel like this hermit energy that I feel, I don't see it quite just yet, we'll see what happens here, really involves them being solitary. So they could be alone, they could be not partnered, or they could really be just focusing on matters of literal life and death. They're focused on like diets, decisions that they have made, their current health situation, what hand they played in the whole thing. Did they take care of their bodies? What could they have done differently? A lot of self-reflection. And going back to the hermit, I feel like it's a revisit of what did I leave behind in the past that I really loved, that I really adored, that I held sacred, and for whatever reason, I left it in the past. This could have a connection to do with you. This could have to do with Six of Coins is, what do they call it? Breadcrumbing. They could, be talking about a situation where they were breadcrumbing you and they're going back to visit that. And I feel like they have to do a lot of ramification, even with their own children, but also with their inner child. So this is a massive step for them, I feel, in the right direction. And if they do it correctly, they are going to find their mojo. I feel like they could have not a clean slate, like I never did anything, because who is infallible? Who's flawless here? I don't know. Nobody, right? Who's flawless? But I feel like they have an opportunity to rewrite a script, or write a script in a different way, or like they could have a potential for a good future. But they got to think, are they going to continue making people beg for their attention, including their children? Are they going to continue making people, kind of like idolize them, or give them, like, you're better than us, and yes, go ahead and do whatever it is you're doing. We agree with everything. It's like almost like they had a lot of ego. They had a lot of like narcissistic behavior, things like that. And I do believe personally that we could all be on a sliding scale of that. So we're not here to diagnose. We're just here to read cards, as I am a card slinger, right? Pile number 3, what is their karma for being a villain? Let us look. The 8 of Cups. The karma is that they're going to have to walk away from another thing. So this talks about the end of chapters, the end of walking away, the end of like some hope, some dream, some wish, something that they put a lot of time, energy, emotion, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into. For example, if they neglected their family, if they neglected you, if this is a parent-child situation, I don't know your life, right? Number 606 on camera right now could mean something to you. Then I feel like they're going back and they're thinking, wow, maybe I repeated a pattern, or I've been in a pattern, or I created a pattern, whatever, that I really need to explore. And it's really difficult to navigate. And now they put all their blood, sweat, and tears into being admired, into being a movie star, into being the top dog, into being the voice of authority, whatever they chose, into a business, maybe, perhaps, into their image. Maybe their Instagram is on fleek, and now they've experienced so many massive changes that they're kind of like, well, is this beauty brand really it for me? Is this like the most important thing? Do I have more to offer the world? Not that beauty brands are a bad thing whatsoever. I love all those beauty products, by the way, but I feel like they're going deep within and they're bringing out traits and characteristics and things that they have not explored, they haven't thought of. And I feel like what they're walking away from is not, because usually I see the 8 of Cups is like, wow, I gave all this and this is what I have to show for it. I feel like that's a surface level in this scenario, because I feel like they invested, they donated, they gave of themselves to themselves into a situation where it was just not good. And I feel like they're finally seeing that everything around them has suffered because of their nature, because of the way that they chose to give what they chose to give. It could even be like, okay, I have everything that I need. Bougie, poor lifestyle, whatever, it doesn't make a difference. I definitely feel like they're looking at, well, did this really elevate mankind around me? Did this really help people? Why am I left alone? Well, maybe because you put yourself before every other person your whole life, and now karma's come for you. Maybe that's what's going on, right? Pile number 3, 9 of Coins right here. Look at, I think this is so new. Check out her big old long neck. What's up? So I definitely feel like maybe their neck is on the block when it comes to fortune. Maybe perhaps they have chased nothing but their money, their bag, putting work first before everything else. And they're starting to see that that really, it provides a nice lifestyle. But in the end, it's like their home is empty, or it's devoid of laughter, or it's their relationships are devoid of trust or depth. Excuse me. And it could be, I mean, like with that guest right now, I definitely feel like they could be looking around and waking up to things and they're like, wait a minute, like I have nobody, but I provided all these things and I had a 401k and and I made sure everybody went to these academies that were private schools and I funded this and I funded that and I bought them cars and I whatever, but they don't realize that they didn't give them of themselves. That was like shallow stuff. They gave material versus of themselves. And now they're back to square one, which is like, wait a minute, I gave all that. And now I have to walk away from giving all that because it's not returning anything that I want. It didn't establish what I thought it would. It didn't form a foundation. People don't feel like, wow, I was given everything and it didn't hold a place in their hearts or in their lives. I feel like people have walked away. And they have to explore, I have all these things, I have all this money or whatever it is. And yet I have a hollow life. I have a shallow life. And yes, I did that with my two very hands. And listen, I feel, like I could easily be that person too, because I've been a workaholic I've been working since basically I was 14. So, I understand that. But I digress. So what is their karma for being a villain? Yeah, they're having to walk away and change everything. And I feel like they're at a loss. They're at emotional loss because the Eight of Cups is all about sadness and emotional loss and everything that you put in that you thought was worth it, not being worth your time and energy any longer. Yeah. The Knight of Swords, and I can't help but look at these small ears right now. And even the wrinkled forehead, it's almost like he's kind of like, like asking questions. And so this could be a situation with the Knight is like they are communicators. They are the ones that, they're quick to enter and say something and then quick to leave. They are like fast acting, super high intellect. Maybe that is you. Only you know this scenario on where you fall. Keep in mind that these readings are timeless, but they are also not individual readings. If you would like a personal reading, you can go to my email at grisellebones@gmail. And I'm doing $50 reads currently. And they are only videos. If you want a face-to-face, that would be $129 because it takes more to see my face. I'm just kidding. But anyways, these are not personal readings. Keep that in mind. So not everything will resonate. With the Knight of Swords right here, I definitely feel like this person, the way this one looks, is quick to talk, quick to do everything except listen. The ears are like really high up and small. So I'm kind of like, you don't listen very well. It's like you hear, but don't listen. And I did have someone that made a comment on the last video I made where I expressed something similar. But yeah, it's that inability. It's like, yeah, I heard you. Yeah, I heard you. But you're not listening. It's like, yeah, I told you to pick up the gallon of milk. Hey, can you pick up the gallon of milk? Yeah, I heard you. I heard you. But did you listen? Did you go do it? Did you follow it with action? Did you change your behavior? And this person has a habit of hearing but not listening, or listening and not hearing. I got to really think that one through because you know what? It's too early for that right now, but you make the distinction and I think that you get the spirit of what I'm trying to deliver. All right. So I definitely feel like this person also has a habit of trying to make things look better than what they are. Okay. They're trying to, they're in the alley. They're in, I don't know, Skid Row. They're like walking around and it's like, but I photograph well. I put things together well. I look well, but you're not. You're definitely not. They're not. Look, the Four of Swords right here. I don't think I've ever gotten this card. And by the way, this one is Lilith and the Time Machine for my readers out there. If you're interested, no affiliation again. But the Four of Swords right here, this comes after a time of like massive heartbreak, heartache. This is a time where they are resting, maybe even recovering from surgery. They could be ruminating. They could be recovering from a time when they had to leave something behind. Even like a realization. Believe it or not, this can affect our health, you guys. Like when we have those times, why do you think that when we get like bad news, it's like our energy, it's almost like we got unplugged? Okay. And we are in the end machines, very much like machines. Anyways, I digress. But I feel like this person, because of the Eight of Cups, of the sorrow that they feel, they have no energy. They could be sleeping a lot. They could be trying to recover their health. But the Four of Swords tells me that they have had, the Three of Swords moment. And we've experienced that in the other pile. So yeah, they're trying to recover from a heartache, heartbreak, very difficult circumstances for them. But I feel like they have to make a decision. It's like, do you want to continue pretending that like you are, all that, or that all's well with your world? And it could be. And I'm not saying that we're putting out into the world, oh my gosh, and woe is me, and this happened. And I don't feel like anyone is looking for that, but having a sobriety about themselves, having a realization that they can rewrite their life in a way that's like, if you want to present just this, if I zoom in, let's zoom in. And if I present just a portion of this, and if I get close enough without this blurring, this looks like a whole different thing. Whoa. But look, people are saying help around them, right? And they're not noticing it. I don't know. I feel like this is painting an entirely different picture. They could be like doing reels and stuff of, look at what I bought my kids for Christmas while everything else is destitute, and this is where they're living, and it's not bad to live in a place that you can afford, especially with the sign of the times economy and things like that. That is not the point. But the point is trying to pretend that you're something that you're not. It's like, I will be the first to tell you, I am not perfect. And I feel like this person wants to come across as flawless. They have no responsibility in this. They have to give up their ego. They're experiencing ego death in this situation, whatever this situation is. And that's part of their karma, is that people are going to start to see that it's like, wow, all those wait a minute, like they catch another reel, or somebody does an expose about them and go, this influencer lives here in this alley, or they're actually homeless and they're, doing this, when they could have utilized that angle to bring them even more views and things like that. And it's like, look, I'm an influencer. I live in my car, and this is how I look bougie or whatever on a budget. Or bougie off of handouts, they could have done things differently. But I also feel like this has a lot to do with like, I'm not responsible. They're not listening to their own intuition. This card straight jumped out of the deck right here. They're not listening to their own intuition. And so they're not grounded. I feel like this is almost like the connectivity of, what is it? Not the floor of life, but I don't know. Anyways, it's not coming to my brain right now. If you know, put it in the comments below. I'd appreciate it. But with the High Priestess reverse, this is divulging people's secrets. This is not being able to keep your mouth shut. I think this is part of the problem, is that they will air out anybody's business in order to make them look good. And that is a big, big problem, because now you're continuing to fuel your ego, and you have a massive change coming, and you're trying to recoup, and yet you're still trying to fuel that narrative. So it's going to be entirely up to them whether they decide they want to really experience true change, embrace these opportunities, because with a tough life comes a lot of tough decisions and a lot of tough opportunities that you can actually pave and really turn into something that sparks you on the up and up, that gives you a new slate, a new way of looking at things. So again, it's going to be up to them if they want to continue thinking, okay, well, I'm going to make myself look good. People can whatever, or even the pity party. People could be like, oh, look, I do all these things and I help all these people, and people are always asking for my help. And I'm like the giver, but really they're giving almost nothing. What people need from them, I feel like, is real loyalty, and not this attitude of, oh, wow, you gave of me, thank you so much, and like reverence, and I want to pedestal you. It goes back to their ego. I feel like these people, pile number 3, whoever you dealt with in the past, and you're here to hear about their karma, these people have really huge egos. Everyone around them knows that they have huge ego. Maybe they're on government assistance. Again, with the economy, that is no shade on that. But the problem is thinking that they're holier than thou, that they have no fault. I feel like they're being humbled by life itself, experiencing losses. They could have had losses in their life. And I feel like they could be thinking, wow, return to when they were a child. What did they want? What did they experience? They could really change their life no matter what age or lifestyle they currently hold. But it's going to be a matter of, do they want to? Okay. Do they want to? Would they like to go another round of having real life syndrome come in, and with their pan, the real life hands of fate are going to throw hands and they're going to start having to, at some point, be humbled in that manner. So I don't know. It's not a good thing. I don't like it, but, these are, I guess, necessary. Yep, part of the journey. So that is all I have. Let me know if you resonated. Let me know if this made sense to you. Give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Until next time, much love. Namaste.